Hello traders, good day to you all. This is Christopher Glen. Today is the 30th of June 2014, and this is the daily market review for the current market status. We've seen the announcements that we've received today. We had several announcements regarding the New Zealand at the beginning of the trading session, and after that the euro, and then the Canadian dollar and the US dollar. Now, although the Canadian dollar received better announcements over here, we can say that the Canadian itself lost a bit of strength and gained the strength back, and it's approximately in the equivalent point. The dollar itself received good announcement during the day, but again, we can see that the dollar itself expressed weakness, not strength, not because of the weakness of the dollar, but because of the stronger pound and euro that we received in the market. Again, you can see that the euro received a bad announcement over here, okay, but still we had strong expression of strength on behalf of the euro because of what's going on over there regarding the European Central Bank. It's giving a lot of confidence to traders, and they follow toward stronger economy in terms of the European section. So we can say that the euro itself is expressing strength and confidence, and so does the pound as well. The dollar expressed weakness because of the strength that we've received from the euro and the pound. Tomorrow, the 30th of June, sorry, the 1st of July, we're expecting to see large amount of liquidity. Now I want to remind you, at the end of this week, we will have a pretty quiet Friday because that is the 4th of July, where the US market will be closed. We're expecting to see low liquidity during the European session and even during the Asian markets time frame. Thursday will be the day that will dictate the futures reaction. In terms of charts, we will have to see the announcements over here. You see a lot of announcements at the same time: trade balance, unemployment claims, unemployment rate in the United States, and so on and so on. We can see a lot of announcements at the same time, 1:30 p.m. I'm expecting to see an explosion over here. That's pretty logical. But before that, let's talk about tomorrow and Wednesday. So tomorrow we will receive a bad. We've got pretty low liquidity on the Canadian dollar. We've got a bad bank holiday, and again during the U.S. markets time frame, we've got the ISM manufacturing PMI. That's the U.S. markets announcement. Before that, during the Asian markets time frame, we've got several announcements regarding the Australian dollar. The Australian dollar gained some strength today. I've got a lot of I've made a lot of analysis regarding the Australian dollar. That's funny. The Australian dollar versus the Canadian dollar is showing good potential to drop down, meaning a stronger Canadian dollar, though we've received pretty equivalent strength of the Canadian dollar today. So we will have to wait a bit to see what will be the expression of the Australian dollar over here to gain some sort of confidence regarding the perspective of the Australian dollar for the next several days. Again, generally Thursday and maybe Wednesday we will receive a large amount of liquidity, but I do expect Tuesday to deliver a low amount of liquidity, although we've got several good announcements. That's during the Asian markets time frame. During the European time frame, we've got just the manufacturing PMI of the pound, and after that the US markets announcement. So low potential for liquidity. The Canadian market will be closed. The best days for this week will be Wednesday and Thursday, just to find good potential liquidized movements and follow them further into next week. Again, Friday we will receive a pretty boring market. We may have some expressions on behalf of the European market, but again, no potential because traders will keep their funds, will keep their investment out of the market because of the bank holiday we've got in the United States. Let's go to the chart. Let's see what we've got over there. So again, as always, but very important to look today at the dollar index. Let's look at the potential over here. Seeing the dollar index again, this is a 15-minute chart. Let's go to a larger time frame. Look at this downtrend movement. Definitely expressed a lot of strength on behalf of the gold and behalf of the silver. According to our indication, we've got a great point for divergence over here. we've got a sideways corrective pattern, and a drop down is a very logical expression in this point. At this point, let's go to an hourly chart and then a daily chart. Still, we received very difficult corrective pattern over here, dropping down. Looking at the daily chart, I've been talking about this pattern for the past several days. I said that my expectation is that the dollar will gain strength eventually and will cross this area. And I also mentioned that we should place a trend line above this corrective pattern. A cross beyond that will indicate definitely that we're moving forward into a higher rate on the dollar index, average strength of the dollar in the market. At the moment, this aspect, we've got no base for it yet. But we will need to wait several more days to see what will be the reaction of the market. We may see a bit of slow down on behalf of the liquidity, on behalf of the dollar. Again, we've talked about announcements, we've talked about potential for the next several days. I do see some sort of potential to slow down this liquidized movement that we've received for the past 2 days. And then to see if we've got a potential to cross this trend line and to move forward to a higher rate. So at the moment, very nice, smooth downtrend movement, no cross breaking the corrective pattern. So no statement for an uptrend yet. But we will need to wait a bit more and see. No question about that. The potential right now is dropped down according to the indicators. So at the moment, I'm staying outside regarding the US dollar. Let's look at the gold and the silver. I gave a prediction today at morning, talk to our clients. I've mentioned that the gold and the silver should climb higher, expressing an additional strength in front of weakness on behalf of the dollar itself. And obviously, the strength that we've received from the euro and pound helped it to establish some sort of strength. Look at that, very smooth and clean uptrend movement. That is a 15-minute chart, but even on an hourly chart, we can see how clean and smooth this movement was. Again, expressing the strength of the weakness of the dollar. But look at that, we've got a very nice and clean impulse, third wave, sideways corrective pattern, and 1, 2, 3, 4 will drop down, 5 will climb higher, and then we will need to reassess this condition of the gold. My analysis shows that there is a potential to see lower rate on the gold. I just need the market to cross specific areas, specific trend lines, so that I'll be able to establish some sort of logical reaction of traders. Looking at the larger aspect, we can see that this movement that we've received over here, this uptrend movement, let's look at the daily chart. That's a daily chart of the gold. So looking at this structure, we can see that we've received a nice uptrend movement. Then we had the 3 waves dropping down. Now it's a question of what structure that is. My assumption is that we've received 1 dropping down, and then a corrective pattern, then a continuance of a downtrend. But because we're fluctuating around this level, which will break this area over here, that will state that this pattern isn't 1, 2, and continuance of third wave. What I'm saying basically is that at the moment we will need to receive a bit more information from the gold in order for us to choose a direction. No question about that. Looking at the larger aspect, the gold is in a potential to continue lower. In terms of the movement that we received over here, impulse, clean structure of downtrend movement. Since then we've received an A, a B, and a C, and from this point we received a nice smooth downtrend potential. We will need to break the trend line below this area on a daily chart to state that we're moving forward to a low rate. I remind you that my assessment was approximately 1100 for an ounce. That's a logical target for this downtrend movement. It's approximately 1,000, more than 1,000 pips from the current rate. Very nice, good potential trade over here. But still, we will need to wait a bit more to confirm that. We will need to place a trend line below the structure. A cross and a close beyond that will dictate that indeed the potential is to drop down. I want you to look at the Japanese yen currencies. We can see that the dollar itself lost a lot of strength. Looking at the expression in front of the Japanese yen, a lot of strength for the last several days, but that's not the only thing that I want you to look at. I want you to see how strong and liquidized the pound expressed the strength in front of the Japanese yen over here. The Swiss franc along with the euro expressed approximately the same strength. We received very nice clean uptrend movement on behalf of the gold in front of the Japanese yen, while the New Zealand gave us a sideways corrective pattern. The New Zealand is in a potential to drop down in front of the Japanese yen. And if we will say, we will look at the same aspect regarding the Australian dollar. We know that the Australian dollar and the New Zealand are connected in terms of time frame, trading markets. We can say that still both of them reflected sideways corrective pattern. We can see that the Australian dollar was a bit weaker than the New Zealand, no question about it. It dropped lower, but still it's a sideways movement fluctuating around the same level. So Australian dollar and New Zealand are fluctuating sideways. Gold, euro, pound, Swiss franc are climbing, gaining strength. Canadian dollar, as I said, climbed higher today, dropped back down again, gave no expression towards a specific direction. And I remind you that tomorrow we've got a holiday, a bank holiday in Canada, so I don't expect to see a lot of liquidity on this chart as well, maybe expressing weakness or strength of other currencies, but at the moment it's expressing nothing on behalf of its structure. But the dollar itself is losing such an enormous amount of strength. We can basically analyze the strength of the dollar in front of the Japanese yen, receiving some sort of an assessment. I've been talking a lot about an expectation of weakness on behalf of the dollar in front of the Japanese yen, and a lot of traders that are familiar with the market will say that we've got a head-shoulder pattern over here, with the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. Nice image of structure over here, and the assumption is that we should see a continuance of a downtrend movement at least until, again, according to the head and shoulder pattern, we should see approximately downtrend movement until this rate that we're at the moment. So nothing really, oh sorry, from the neckline. So a bit lower will complete the structure that fits the idea scenario of head and shoulders. But if you want to step outside of head and shoulders and analyze that as the Elliott wave is dictating, then we can say that we've received an A, a B, and a C climbing higher, and from this point and beyond we've received the beginning of an impulse movement dropping down. That's the first, the second, the third is expected to drop down, fourth correction and downtrend movement to complete this structure. I can say that from this point and beyond we've received an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave expected to drop down. Now I know it's a bit confusing. The bottom line is that I'm expecting to see a bit more downtrend on the dollar versus Japanese yen before the dollar should gain strength again, combining it with the dollar index. That's enough for today. Tomorrow we will receive a lot of information that will help us define continuance of movements and potential for trades. Until then, I would stay away from the gold and silver, expressing potential for divergence. Again, in terms of structure, not in terms of indication. You shouldn't look for trade according to our strategy, because that is a larger time frame cycle that's approaching toward an end, and there's a potential laser to diverse its structure. I'd like to wish you all the best with your trades. Have a pleasant day, and bye bye.